Voilà, voilà, Joli. We're gonna have a chat with Joli. Hey!
Hello!
It's working!
It's working! Well,
Yes, oh, it's nice to see you. It has been a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
Um, and this year, hang on, let's see. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
And then this week was when we met.
Ah, yeah.
I saw that in my
Oh,
face
it's true.
on the Facebook memories. It came up, the day we met was the 12th in 2014.
Amazing. It's
That's,
true.
it's been a while.
Yeah, but we met in 2014, but we knew since a long time before. But it was
Right,
the first time we met. Yeah.
right,
We've been in touch since a long time. Yeah.
because I stalked you on Facebook.
Yeah, it was the time of Facebook. It was not even Instagram at that time. Yeah.
No, we didn't have Instagram then. No. I found you on Pinterest
Ah, yeah.
and that was that photo of you with the horse and I posted it and tagged you and that's how we met.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah. I had inspiration boards on Pinterest with women with gray hair because I hadn't decided yet. And it was full of you, of course, because you've you had so many photos out there. So
Yeah, I
anyway.
remember when you contacted me for that, and I follow all your paths since then. And when we met also in 2014, it was really nice when we met in Albuquerque, and I was visiting by around there in New Mexico, and it was really like, wow, it's fantastic to have this way of communicating and also be able to see us, to meet us, you know. And since we've been really, I could say, closer and closer for many reasons. And you advanced so well on that path of air. It's unbelievable what you did.
Oh,
Since when
thank you.
you started to do your line and when did you started to do that? Why did you start it as well?
Um, so in 2017, I had already grown off all the dye and I had decided to grow it long because as we talked about when you were here, I didn't want my hair short anymore and I hadn't had it long in a very long time. So I had to pick my battle though. I had to decide between growing off the dye and growing out the length. So I grew off the dye first and then I just let it grow from there to get the length out. But
Yeah.
as you know, we suffer from yellowing with gray hair, so I was having issues with being sensitive to the purple shampoos. They would make me itch. And when
Mm.
I got into looking at what they are for and what their purpose is, it didn't make any sense because they just cover up yellowing. They don't remove it. And as I looked into some of the causes of yellowing, I found out that some of it can be removed. So I just got to thinking about what I
Yeah.
knew from my mother's work of how to detox with something naturally. And of course, you can detox the stomach and the skin with clays. So I started looking at clays and I started experimenting with different ones. And I came up with a recipe and I showed it on Facebook. And I said, people wanted to know what I had done. And from there, I decided to make the product, and it sold out the first 2 weeks, which it was a small little, trial
Yeah.
batch, and it's just grown from there. So,
Fantastic. It's really fantastic.
yeah, it was astonishing when I told my husband. I remember when I wanted to do this, I said, hey, I've got this idea. And of course, in our house, when somebody says, hey, I've got this idea, we have to sit down and have a serious conversation. But he was totally supportive and everything, and that was wonderful. But at the start of it, I just kind of said, well, we'll just see where it goes. And I've just kept saying, we'll just see where it goes. And here we are 5 years later.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And me, I follow all this adventure. I really love the oil, by the way. I really love the oil. Yeah, it's really.
I sent you the new one, right? This,
Yes, 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 yes,
yeah,
yes. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
So
really nice.
I'm moving to just selling that one for now because it's 100% clear.
Yeah,
So as soon as I run out of my original formula, which I have a few left right now, but once those are gone, I think I'm just going to stick with the new squalane oil because it is really clear. It's very nice. I mean, most people just love it. So, and the other oil just kind of gradually
yeah.
lost its sales.
What
So
what
I
is what is squalene?
Squalane is derived, the one I sell is derived from olive oil, and it
Yeah,
is our every human body, every mammal makes squalene with an E,
yes, yeah,
um, and it's the fat that's in your skin cells.
yes,
So when we derive it from plants and you put it back on the skin or the hair, it just soaks right back in because the body recognizes it
yeah,
as something normal, and
yeah,
it's so close to mimicking the natural body's oils. It doesn't clog pores, so you can do like scalp massage with it and you won't break out. I mean, of course, unless you're allergic to olives or,
yeah.
any allergies, an allergy, but um, originally squalene was derived from sharks,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I think they still kill sharks for squalene, but now in the cosmetic industry, squalane is the norm, and it's derived from olives, sugar. You can get it from sugar cane, um, so it's more sustainable that
yeah,
way,
yeah,
and cruelty free.
yeah,
So.
yeah. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Yeah, and there are, ways. I was thinking also I'm gonna do a live with also Shakandra. We did already a small live some times ago. She's in Australia, and
Mhm.
she developed a kind of, I can say, massage, scalp massage brushing technique that she does session about that. And she sent me two shampoo. And I never thought about that before. And I would love to try this with your clay. She gave me an extra bottle to mix the shampoo with water
Mhm.
and let the shampoo on my dry hair for 15 minutes, 20 minutes before washing them. So
Right, so it's like a
I have this little bottle that I mix a little bit of shampoo with. And like this, I put a towel.
uh-huh.
I stay like that. And after I go in the shower, I noticed something really interesting because here there is no pollution. When I wash my hair, it's never dirt like when I was living in New York. When I was living in New York, I had a lot, and Paris even more.
Yeah, the
My
pollution
hair,
on,
yeah,
yeah.
the water was, the first one was gray. It was really dirty. Here I don't have this. I live in nature. But what surprised me is when I did this technique, I did it twice since I got the shampoo. I saw that it was more dirt in the water than usual.
Yeah.
So I told her, she said, yeah, because it's not only the dirt of the pollution, it's dirt at another level more deep as well.
Yeah, I mean, you even when you live in the rural areas or the country and you live on the beach, you're still going to pick up things
Yeah,
from the
but
air
but
from
when I was doing my shampoo normally, I never saw this in the water.
yeah.
By
There's a
letting it pause like that, like 20 minutes,
yeah.
and after washing, it was something.
Yeah,
So
because it gives it time to break it down.
yes,
So
it's
the clay has a similar principle to it, only you're not mixing it with shampoo, you're mixing
yeah,
it with conditioner. Which I'm working on making it easier to use where you can just scoop out and put it on. You don't have to mix it. So I'm
yeah,
working on that. But yeah, when you clarify your hair, most people don't realize you can't just shampoo and rinse it out. You've got to let it set for a minute
yeah,
to
yeah,
give those ingredients time to break everything down. Um, but it's amazing how much can be on your hair. I like to tell people look at your brush. Look at your hairbrush. If your hairbrush has lint, dirt, stuff on the bristles, that's what's in your hair.
Yeah, sure.
And when you're brushing it, you're pulling that out of your hair. So even when we use clean products where we're not using sulfates and silicones, there's still oils and butters and all that kind of stuff in there that draw dirt and pollution and that sort
Yeah,
of thing to
and
it.
also there is something I was thinking a lot about the hair quality because I bought an ABG air water generator, and I was amazed because it's almost 2 months I have it now, and I get water to drink from the hair. So the hair, we don't see it. It's invisible, but there is water in the air we breathe.
So it pulls moisture from the air and
Yes, and
converts it to drinking water.
yes, there are a lot of filters and things, and it brings, but it's quite a lot. I can have easily, I'm single and I don't drink 2 gallons a day, but when I cook and all that, I use the water. I can have easily 2 to 5 gallons a day.
Wow.
It's amazing. So I was thinking about, because the water, and it's something I'm even thinking more about with what is going on around the world, because I think the situation is not only because of they created or it's a virus or that or that. I think also there is a change right in the molecules of the atmosphere from the cosmic level. And this imprint as well the particles, the molecules of water with certain information. And when we breathe this, we inhale that, and our bodies, as it's something new, and our bodies must have difficulties to process that and react in that or that or that way, because it's full of information. So water is something that we can program it, like, the fleur de bac or homeopathy, or all these things. We can instill a program, make a programmation, download information in the water. So I think, and Shakandra is also something like that. And you, with where you come from, with your mother, as a healer, you can also bring this in your product as the intention. You bring in the molecules, gonna work,
So
because we
it's
work with nature. It's what the shaman does. They work with elementals, with spirit of nature, spirit of plants, spirit of mineral, like the clay spirit. So when you are aware of that and you know the properties at a certain level, it's what you gonna bring in your product. And I'm sure it's what you do, because when I see you full of light, I'm sure it's what you do. And
so
it's,
that it's funny that you mentioned that because um, when I made everything myself before I had to get somebody to help me because I hurt my arm,
hmm,
I at the when I finished packing everything, I would take my music, my speaker, and I would turn on this one song, and I would play this song while I was putting everything away after I was finished, and that was Macy Gray's "It's a Beautiful World." And or there's beauty in the world, excuse me. And it's like my way of infusing that what I put out is beautiful. And
yeah,
uh, my why for my life has always been that I would make everything around me beautiful. Um, so that translates into my business as well, that it's
oh
really
yes,
about just having the most beautiful hair you can have for you. Um, and even if that means you don't want to use my products, you can read my blog and so forth and learn about hair and hair care. But yeah, I always think about that intention. Even when my products come in, when they ship to me, I'll put the music in the garage while I'm
yeah,
unloading all my boxes and bringing everything into the house because I just feel like, well, one, music, um, it infuses its own, uh, rhythm and
yeah,
it just, I don't know, it's just something that I've always done, and it might seem weird or strange but I just feel like it helps, an energetic level.
Sure, sure.
So
It's like when I package my shawls, and it's only me. There is no one to help me, and people say, "Oh, you should take someone." No, because this moment I am making my package. I am thinking of the person. I am sending all the best love I can, and I'm happy, and I envision the person wearing it, and it's like already infusing something about goodness and something.
when you sent me my shawl and what you wrote on the card, I cried. I still
Uh,
like, and I don't remember now what it said, but I remember reading it and crying because you put something on there about wrapping me in love and that it would be your love. And I
yeah,
do that too when I knit things and I send them. I'll write a nice little card and let people know that, if you wear something that I've made, you're wearing my love.
yeah.
And I know people think that's very strange, but I believe that, when someone takes that
Don't believe
energy and
that.
that care.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I see most of my customers, followers, customers, they are totally on that vibe.
Yeah.
They totally and they get it, and they totally get it, and they feel it when they
Well,
receive that here.
we draw what we are to us. So, that's also
Yeah,
true, right?
yeah. And
So that,
it's like I wanted to say, because this is really dear to me, and maybe I'm gonna cry about that. Like you, people who are watching, you can also know that Joli is not only doing her beautiful skincare, hair care line with love, but she also managed my website. And this because it's something I'm totally unable to do. And I gave her the direction, and she did exactly what I wanted. And the thing is that I'm unable to write in proper English, but I have my intention. And the wonderful thing is that Joli is translating my intention, exactly what I write in my mistaken English, in a perfect English, keeping my spirit, keeping my meaning, keeping my soul. And every time I'm crying as well when I read the traduction you do of my stories. I'm like, wow, it's a wonderful feeling for me to be in, understood deeply in what is important to me, because my stories are true. It's part of me, of my life experience, and I cherish them. And to have someone who can catch the essence and translate it in a way, I'm amazed every time you do a translation. I'm like, wow, it's fantastic, really, really.
you know, what's funny to me is when I was in high school, we had to take a second language. And I lived in New Mexico my whole life. I should have taken Spanish, right? But I didn't want to take Spanish. I took French. And it was the it was the first class I failed in all of my school career. It was the first class I failed. And so when I get your written word, I think, gosh, if she could write this to me in French, this would probably be easier for me to translate it if I knew French. But I still think it's hilarious that, the trajectory of life, right? Here I was dead set
Yeah.
on taking French. I couldn't pass it because I couldn't absorb it. Of course, it was my last class of the day too, so I was exhausted by the time I got to that class. It should have been my first class, but anyway, I just think it's funny. Every time you send me something, I'm like, this would probably be easier if I knew
It's
French.
funny, yeah. But you know what? It's even difficult for me now to write in French.
Yeah, I
I,
bet.
I am. It's very hard, and in fact, it's very hard to write more and more in both languages. I have the feeling the transmission for me pass more by the voice, by the speaking, than by writing. But
Yeah.
I would love to have something written to be, with my pictures. So as I told you, I have this project of short stories. Maybe I can you know, we can go on that, and it can be a nice way to also have a trace, you know,
If
of
we could just if we could just clone me so that there was that's my can your water generator make two of me?
maybe I can have the intention, I can put the intention.
Right? Put the intention in there and see if we could get two of me to make. Oh, it's funny. I only have a handful of design clients left because
Yeah.
when I transitioned, I just couldn't keep up with my load for website design plus managing the business and everything that I had to do 100% on the website for my website. But I kept you and I kept a couple of other people. You're all Sagittarians.
Ah,
You're all women. And 90% of the time when you need something from me, you all need it at the same time. It's
no
just,
way.
yeah, I won't hear from anybody for a little while, and then all of a sudden in 1 week it'll be, can you do, can you do? So, so I'll take a little chunk of time off and, take care of all of you. But I just think it's funny. I was telling my other client this, and we were laughing because she needed a sign for her business. So this last week while I was working on your perfume page, I was also working on a sign for her business.
Oh,
So
it's so
it was,
funny.
yeah, it's funny how that works out, but I love it. I love being there for you, and I love working on your work.
Mhm.
When you send me photos, it just it makes me stop and pause and
Mhm.
get calm because you emote that beauty in the world in a calm, meditative
Mhm.
way. And it always just makes me feel so centered and, and right.
Yeah, it
Now,
yeah.
rewriting for you, sometimes I have to take my brain out and put in another one. But
No, but
there's
you are really empathic. You are in empathy, totally. It's you are really feeling it's impressive to me, really, because it's even better than how I wanted to write it, but I could not write it. Even if I wanted to write that way, I could not find the word, and it's flowing, and you found the word properly. It's uh, with the last one of the jewelry
on the
line.
jewelry.
Oh my, I was like, I cannot believe it's so beautiful.
I can't believe it took us so long to get like your about page, which I loved doing that was, and
Yeah.
some of it I sent it to you, some of it I already knew everything, but there was stuff that you filled in that I just loved the way you put it. And I have, that's part of it too, is when I translate for you, I want it to sound like you've said it.
Yeah,
I don't want to take
but it
away
is.
yeah,
It
I don't
is.
want to take away that it's yours. So it's not even, I dropped my English editor quite a bit so that it's not 100% proper English, Um, but I enjoy it because it gives me some freedom to just express you to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You are so
I
talented. You're really talented. It's
thank you.
really, yeah, really impressive to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, since we know us, since we met, but even before, you look younger than when we met.
Oh,
It's
the
unbelievable.
when we met, the year we met was the year before I had my surgery. And it was like the culmination of I couldn't do anymore. I
Yeah.
couldn't live that way anymore. And it was you met me at a time when I was pretty low. I was
Mm,
pretty
mm,
low, but
mm.
I feel so much better now and I feel like all the steps I've taken since I met you have to me make me feel like me. Like
Mhm.
I'm stepping into who I want to be and
Oh,
how I
and it
want to
shows.
live.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Totally shows. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
And I
it's
thank you for encouraging me to get on video. For those of you watching, I'm used to being behind the scenes and I'm fine with that. So, Yazmeena, you've been really good at I even hear you in the back of my mind. You can do it. It's fine. Just do it. Just get on there.
how many times I ask you, yeah, yeah. I will feel when I'm feel ready. Yes. Yeah.
For what, 2 years since the lockdown?
And finally we do it.
We're here. After the lockdown, my business got so crazy because people were,
Yeah.
shopping online, and I had no time to do anything but process orders and ship them and make product. And it was amazing and insane.
Yeah.
It was the dichotomy, it was totally the dichotomy,
Yeah, it
but
has been the same for me. I was not expecting at all what happened. I wanted to stop
I think it's
the business.
amazing what's happened for you with the shawls. It's it's amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to stop it. I wanted to stop because, you know, for me, I don't like to do in a way. In fact, because for a simple reason, because I love to travel.
Right,
And I cannot delegate to someone else because for what I told you, because I cherish my pieces and I want to be in touch with people who are buying. I do
right.
private video, I do private video for people if they want to see a selection. We spend the time together, we start to know each other, and it's quite nice. But the confinement obliged me to stay at home, and it started like that. And I'm happy I did because
I
and
think you did.
I'm happy as well that the artisan were able to provide, even if it has been hard because of the conditions. But like that, we've been able all together with the followers, customers, the artisan to support the orphanage in a time of crisis because it has
Yeah,
been really, really hard and it's still really hard for them.
yeah.
Uh,
It's amazing what you're doing for them, and I think anytime you can help someone less fortunate, you should.
yeah,
You should. If you have the means to do so, then you should. And I think it's beautiful what you've done in supporting their community in this way because, children shouldn't go without.
yeah.
And
And also for me, it was something I wanted to do since a very, very, very long time. I always wanted to put me in a way at service for a cause, for something. And, like innocently, when I arrived in New York, I've been to UNICEF and I contacted them. I've been at the headquarters there and I said, I am a
when was
mother.
that?
Oh, in 1999, as soon as I arrived in New York. And I said, I can propose my services as photographer or as model if you need for campaign or anything. I've been twice, they never answered to me. So I said, okay, this it's because it's not right.
Hmm.
And deep inside, I knew, because deep inside, it was like, I would prefer to know charity organization, association indirect, to know really where goes my money,
Yeah,
know really
yeah,
where goes my energy.
right.
And
I
it took
agree.
time, but finally, it's there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's helping them. I'm sure it is. And
Last year, it has been very hard because they lost all the donators, because people lost their job, people had no income and all. And we've all together, we've been able to provide half of their expenses for the year. So it has been quite great. And this year,
good.
it's slower, but we may have, by one of my followers, a contact. They did the application already for them to have a grant. And we will know this end of the year. So they may have a grant, very substantial, by a charity organization, an association who gives charity grants here in the US. So you
Yeah.
see, you never know who is listening, who can really help, who can. It's for that. It's great to exchange and to speak about, to tell our story and speak about what is going on.
Well, I'm glad I can be a part of it in some way because
Yeah.
I feel like because I can put you out there in the way that I do for your website and your written word, I feel like I get to help in some way, and that feels really good to me and my heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
sure, like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So now I was thinking, going back to the hair issue and your product, and I noticed because now I'm not traveling and I'm not working as model like I was used to because
Hmm.
I boycott everything. I boycott travels, I boycott testing, I boycott everything. So I am at home and my hair, sure, I less prone to have yellow than before because I don't have the worst thing is the curly iron.
The
This is the
curling iron.
and they supposedly put spray to protect and put and curl again, and after they put the spray to hold, and after they come back with the curly iron hot on the spray holder, and it's a
It
disaster.
so there are some there's ways to stop it, but because somebody else is styling your hair when you're on your shoots, it's it's harder to control because unless we find irons for you that you take with you,
Yeah.
that way you know how hot they get. You can control that if they touch you with it, what spray or whatever you've put in your hair, that you take control of that part.
Yeah.
That would be the most ideal solution, because one of the problems with flat irons is depending on how old it is, it can have heat surges go through it. So it's sitting there, right, while you're putting your makeup on and and it's sitting there getting hot, and occasionally it'll surge heat through to make sure that it stays hot.
Mm.
And I have a friend and client who she was getting ready for a party, and it had her daughter-in-law was they were all doing their hair, and she ran the flat iron through her bangs and it burned. Like
Oh,
it actually burned her white hair brown. And the thing is that these irons do this to dyed hair and dark hair. We just don't notice it.
sure.
You might smell it, or maybe you'll feel it later, like it'll feel off. It won't feel the
Yes.
same way. But I think the newer irons, some of the more professional ones, are getting too hot. I mean, 365 degrees is when the keratin in the hair melts.
Yeah.
And some of these irons are up at 450 degrees, which is how you can set paper on fire at that degree.
Wow.
You can put the piece of paper in between the flat iron and it'll catch on fire.
Wow.
There's no reason for hair to be in there. And so I think the best thing for you in a shoot is for us to find you an iron that stays at 365, and to make sure you have
You know,
your own heat protectant.
now I request to don't have my hair with iron,
Yeah,
but like the old ways, like brushing and rolls. That's
right.
it.
And that
It
works.
gives
That
beautiful waves.
yeah.
It's really, really, really nice. It gives volume instead of having, the curly and things, and it's less damaging
Yeah, it
because
is
when
less
when the
damaging.
brushing is well done, it closes the cuticles. And after you put the rolls and the hair, when it's cooled down, gonna keep my hair keep very well the shape. When I put the curls, the rolls or something like that, it keeps very well. The one I have here,
It
is just
holds.
from when I put my bun with my stick, and I
Yeah,
already have that. And if I do it stronger, more tight, it will be
yeah.
even more. So
I'll
it's very
do it.
easy.
I'll split mine because I part my hair in the middle. I'll part them this way, and I'll do my ponytail, and I'll do one coil on this side and one coil on this side, and then wrap the
Yeah,
two. And then my when I come out, my curls are looser and a little bit like a wave instead of what you see now. But
yeah,
um, those are great alternatives to heatless curling. And then there's a lot of products now for this. There's like that little band that you can wrap your hair
yes.
around and sleep
I
in.
tried. You sent me that, and I tried. It's nice. I did
They
with
make
a belt,
one.
you know.
You can buy one too that's got, I guess it's got some wire in it or something to hold. Um, I can't sleep and stuff like that because I move too much, so
Yeah.
it bothers me. For one, it'll wake me up. But I think they're kind of cool that you can, you know, you can make that wave without any heat
Sure.
and just set it with, gel or hairspray. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
getting dark. It's getting dark over here on my side.
No, it's okay. We still see you.
Okay. But
Yeah, and
I'm on the west side of the house, so the sun's setting and it's the light's changing. But anyway,
yeah, I did. You sent me that thing with the belt of the robe. I did it and it's working. I
yeah,
didn't
it
start with
works.
it because I kept it one day, but what I did sometimes, I don't do it because I'm too lazy. But I do this braid from the scalp, like really on the scalp, all
All the
around.
way around.
And after I finish the braid and I twist it and I let like that. And after I'm like that. It's working
Oh,
very well. Yeah,
your
but
big hair. Yeah.
I prefer, to go on the beach when it's really humid and windy. And after I have this beautiful natural curl because of the humidity. I love when it's humid. My hair, I love when it's humid. When I'm in the desert, they are straight because it's
Yeah.
very dry.
So you probably do have wavy hair, but it's just a kind of silky wave. So it means that like a piece of silk with humidity, it enjoys the humidity, and then when it's dry, it just gets kind of crispy and
Yeah,
doesn't want to bend.
yeah.
So that's you have like a silk wave is what they call it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's fun to play with when you can.
It's the same with fibers like cashmere or yak. When you are in a humid environment, they love it. It's become more, soft, fluffy and more. And when it's dry, they become flatter. It's for that I say to people, they say, oh, how I can store my shawl. I say, let them around, let them live, enjoying the hair around them. They love it. And often I said, when it's the cashmere, I say, wash them when you receive them because they have been flattened by the iron and they flatten the
Yeah,
fibers. So they are not fluffy, but you wash them just with cold water and hair dry and they get back fluffy
or you
because,
felt it like I did.
but it's something else.
I did not mean to do that, but it happened. However, I love it felted.
Yeah,
Because it got smaller, which was good for me because here I wouldn't wear it like you wear it as a long shawl. Here I wear it in the wintertime as a wrap around my neck. So
yeah.
having it felted and the weave tightening up was actually a blessing, and it feels so good because it's so felty.
When it's melted, it's also warmer.
Yeah, it is warmer, and for me here in the winter time, that's a lot better because we have pretty cold winters. Well, it's not cold all winter, but there's a chunk of our winter that is very cold.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's nice to have, and
But
it,
the good thing with the shawls, some people are scared to wash them. It's very simple to know how it works. If you wash them just like that, by hand,
by
uh,
hand, yeah,
in cold water with a little bit of shampoo. Shampoo is the best. You have a good shampoo, you take some
yeah,
shampoo and
natural,
you rinse
natural
well
shampoo.
and we are dry. It's one thing. If you want to have, you found it a little bit too big, or I did for some just to try, you wash them in warmer water and you do that. You do that like that.
Agitate it, yeah,
Yeah,
friction.
in between your hand. And it's gonna felting more, a little bit more. So it's gonna shrink a little and it's gonna be maybe more warmer, more dense. The fiber will not be so hairy, so transparent, because this is quite
Right,
transparent. But they're
right.
gonna be still beautiful, but it's a lot of to play with, and you never damage it, you never lose it, because
So
you can.
when I realized what I had done by felting it, I took it and I spread it all out, and I took a felt brush to it and I brushed it out real gently to pull the felt together,
Yeah.
and then I steamed it with a steam iron, and
Yeah,
it steamed all the felt together. So it at first came out there was little holes, where the weave didn't pull
yes,
together. And once I brushed it and put the steam on it, it all came together really nice, and
yeah,
it feels like a cashmere sweater.
yeah.
So it's really lovely. Um, I I think we talked about it before because we both knit, that when you knit wool, you have to be really careful how you wash it because you can have the knit piece or you can have the felted piece, and you have to be really careful. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
And it's interesting because the cashmere is felting easier than the yak. The yak, it's a fiber that is more dry, that is soft but more dry.
mhm.
And the felting is much more complicated to do. I have my meditation cocoon, the yak that I have that are like with texture, and they look like laces. Actually, I'm going to do a video these days because I just received an order of them, 2 sizes. And this, it's a very difficult process to felt the yak because the yak is antibacterial. So the fiber has another texture and doesn't felt as well as the cashmere. So it's much more difficult for them. They have to really anticipate on the size to get exactly the size, more or less at 5 centimeters close, 2 inch close,
Right,
because
because you have to
it's
felt
difficult.
it after
Yeah,
you've.
yeah. It's very, very hard process for them to do, but it's beautiful. It's really, really nice. Yeah. So, oh yeah, this is also a new design I received with the tie-dye border like that. I wanted something that looks like feather around, like
Yeah,
little feathers.
yeah.
So this is like that. So
It does
this
look
is,
like it looked like smoked feathers,
yes,
like
this
a
was the
smoky.
idea.
Yeah. So
So
how did the perfume go this week? You launched the perfume.
we launched the perfume. It's here.
It's here. I bet you smell delicious.
It smells good. I will have to send you some samples for you to smell it, to scent that. Yeah. Yeah,
After writing it, I was like, I want to smell this. I described it without smelling it.
you will. You will. It is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This. I'm gonna do a video for Maria Candida Gentile for YouTube about what is this scent for me. 5 minutes video if I can, because I'm always very long. But it's amazing. I don't know if you hear the story last day when we went live together, because it's an amazing story, our meeting, the way we met. And when we discovered that she had a house on the beach of my childhood, so she knew the place I grew. Because
Wow.
when I was little girl, it was like few houses, maybe 3 houses, 5 houses on that beach. And they bought a house with her family in the 80s. And she was there when I was there during the vacation in summer. And we never met. But Corsica is small, and she said, I know Favon. I said, how you can know Favon? She said, yeah, I have a house. I had a house there for years. I was coming like for 25 years. I was there in vacation.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So she knew the place, she knew the scent, because it's very special. The bushes under the sun in Corsica with, the endemic plant has a very special scent. I could recognize it, eyes closed. When I go in Corsica, for example, at spring, end of May, and you have all the bushes in flowers, and you get out of the plane in Figari, because Figari airport, it's a tiny airport. You're land on the land, it's
Yeah.
like, and the plane opens the door, and this scent, it's like inebriating. It's like, it's so strong. And I wanted to have something similar to that, but as a perfume. And
That
she caught
is
totally the thing. She caught it.
so this when I was in high school, I worked for a place that was a perfumery. Um, and it was the oils of perfume. So we blended for you into lotion or shampoo or body wash, whatever you wanted. And we had some of the name brand products that were just the oil, not the
Yeah,
colognes, not the perfumes or anything like that. But where I grew up is the same. When you leave and come back, the smell that you take in, because it's tall ponderosa pines, so the first scent is pine, and then it's very earthy because all the needles on the ground. If it
yes.
when it rains,
Ah, yeah,
oh, the I mean, anybody that knows me and knows where I'm from right now, they just went, oh, because you know that smell.
yeah,
And so I can totally relate to that. And when we had the perfume, when I worked in the perfume shop, we actually tried to create a scent for the local community that was
yeah,
capturing the smell after the rain,
yeah,
because it's earthy and pine and wet, and it just is this beautiful smell. And that's one thing when I get out of the car, when I go down to my hometown, the first thing when I get out of the car is I just
yeah.
take this deep breath in, because there's nowhere else in the world
Yeah.
like it in
Oh,
my
yeah. It's yeah, but it is like that because
yeah.
I traveled a lot. The first thing I do when I get out of the plane, when I'm in nature, when I am in not at the airport, it depends of the airport. If it's Socotra, it was like right also in the nature. I smell. I close my eyes and I smell the land. And it's everywhere is different. Everywhere is different. When
Yeah,
I go to
everywhere has
the
its
desert
own
here, when
signature.
I
It all
went in the desert in Texas, you have that also in Albuquerque, but more in Texas, the creosotes, the
Yeah,
creosote.
Texas
Oh,
has the creosote and the mesquite,
oh,
and New
that,
Mexico has the well, we have pine still. There's pine, throughout New Mexico. Depends on where you are. Not out in the desert necessarily. Um, the desert here smells like dirt, but
but it
to me,
smells.
it smells.
There
It
is
does
a
have a smell.
scent. Yeah.
Yeah. But and if you think about that, it's the harsh reality of the desert. There are no plants that survive with strong scents. There's very few. And, because cactus doesn't have a major
Yeah, but
smell, right? But
the creosote are very strong because the
yeah,
first time I've been in Texas desert, when I arrived by night, so I were not scented, I could not smell that. It was not no
where were
smell.
you?
I was in Presidio on the Mexican border.
Ah, okay.
Mexico, it's Presidio or Rinagua in Mexico City on the Rio Grande.
Right.
And when the morning I wake up and I scent that, I was like, what is this scent? It's like incense in a church. It was like incense, like in the church. So I told the woman I was hosted by, I said, what is smelling like incense, like in church? She said, oh, it's a creosote.
And yeah,
Creosotes, and after the humidity of the night and under the sun in the morning,
it,
oh, it smells so good. I
mhm,
love it. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
There's, here, when it rains, because we get so little rain, it's for me, you can smell the ozone so strong that
yes.
I just have to go outside and just breathe the ozone, because it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I wrote or rewrote the material for the perfume, I was wanting to go get in my essential oils and see if I could create this bit. Which, talk about creating something blind. I've never smelled Corsica, so I wouldn't have any idea. But
I cannot say that it's like when you get out of the plane. There are 3 layers of notes, but she recreates something that is connecting me really with the scent of this island, really. When you take, for example, one of the components that is helichrysum. Helichrysum by itself doesn't smell really good,
No, it doesn't.
but it's
It's
very
yeah,
potent.
it's very potent. Yeah.
The sisters, it's the same. It's not really good, but it's the alchemy, it's the way you put them together with the quantity. And I wanted fig. Fig doesn't exist. So she did another perfume. We did a collaboration that is zirconium. That is a reproduction of fig scent with natural molecules of other plants. It's amazing. And she put some of her fig scent in that because fig is very important in Corsica. So you have this mix of very wild plant, fig trees. She put fig, the scent of fig leaves trees, not of
Hmm.
the fruit,
Not the fruit,
and
but the leaf. Yeah.
the leaves. And she put also cedra. Cedra, it's a kind of lemon, but it's not a lemon. It's not like Eureka lemon or Meyer lemon. It's a very specific lemon that has a skin really tormented with bumps everywhere,
Yeah, it's
very
real rough.
thin, and it has a scent different than lemon. And this is typical also from the scent we had there and that I grew with. This kind of, I say prehistoric lemon, it's like a weird fruit, really weird.
Yeah.
And she combined all that, and it's a combination of that is there is. When my son came, I just received the first sample, middle of February, and I made him smell. I say, send that. He said, oh yeah, it smells like the bushes in Corsica. Plus, she put honeysuckle that is also wild, and
Honeysuckle, yes.
also calamus that is wild. That is a plant from I think it's called reed in English, from the river, and the place where you have the river going in the sea. You have this reed kind of grass from
Hmm.
the water grass, and she put also a little bit of that. But this one, if you take it by itself, doesn't smell good at all. But it's the
Yeah.
alchemy combination of the molecules,
The
and I was
marriage.
wondering how she does that. She knows very well the plant and their spirits. She does that first in writing. She writes the formula before doing it because she
Yeah.
knows very well. So she gets inspired, I guess. I'm going to put these drops of that. And it's amazing because none of her perfume, not two, are the same. They are all different.
Yeah.
How
Wow.
possible to create like that? It's amazing when you think about. And I
And
was thinking
it's
of what
difficult
you
if
said.
you like I blended the, oils for my product,
Yeah.
and I had several. It took me a while to get to that blend, that's what I liked. And um there were some people that said it was potent, and I said, well, it's cleansing. Cleansing is potent. It's supposed to, it's supposed to smell clean. And so, yeah, but it took me a while to get to that blend,
Mm.
and have it the way I wanted it. I went backwards according to the way she does it, though, because I did it by doing the
Yeah.
oils and mixing them together and tracking, how many did I do of this and how many did I do of that, and then taking away a little and doing it again. And the house smelled great because I had all of these
Yes.
samples, had all these samples of oil everywhere, right? Um,
But
but yeah,
it's
I think
amazing
it's a
that you were working in a company was already mixing oils. No,
I did do that, and then I worked for, I don't know, do you know Yankee Candle?
no.
You don't know the company Yankee Candle? I think it started back east somewhere, but there was a shop that was the first shop in New Mexico that sold these candles. And so I worked there for a little while, which I didn't make the candles, but I learned all these scents. I learned
Yeah.
all of their profiles and everything. And then my mother worked for Young Living as a distributor early when the company first started. So I learned oils back then when the company very first started, which was the early 90s. And that's where I got my kind of groundwork for essential oils because what we were using at the perfumery was not essential oils. Not, well, there were some, but mostly it was synthetic oils for
Uh-huh.
perfume. Yeah. So, yeah, I've had a very weird little path there of learning scents. And then to end up being allergic to perfume is
Yeah.
kind of ironic. Like, I don't know, how did I end up being allergic to
No,
fragrance?
but
But
it's very simple for me. I think it's rare unless there is a specific intolerance, not really an allergy to a plant, but it's rare
um,
that we can have intolerances to natural molecules.
so I'm actually allergic to formaldehyde. And many of the synthetic fragrances, especially in the United States,
Yeah,
they preserve the fragrance so that anytime you spray it 5 years from now, it'll smell the same as it did when you first bought it. So they use formaldehyde to preserve it.
yeah,
And that is what gets to
yeah,
me.
because
So,
we are organic as nature. So more we use organic, natural essence, less we have the chance to have intolerances or allergy. But if
right.
we use, because they are potent, they are alive, they are connected to the spirit of plants. So they are also able, these molecules can resonate with us because we are organic, we are part of nature. If we put a synthetic one, there is no life there, and it can create interferences with our organic nature. So it's very simple to understand that all these chemicals are not compatible with a human body. It's not possible. You
Well, and then
see?
I think we over scent. Everything is scented. Your laundry detergent, you walk, like, we've been looking to buy a house and we've walked into houses where people have the plug-in Glade or whatever, the
Yeah,
scent and Scentsy. We were in a house, the last house we looked at, they had two of those in every room. I couldn't breathe. I mean,
yeah,
we looked at the house and I had to get out because I just couldn't
yeah,
even breathe. And I thought, how can you live like that? How can you live with that constant inundation of scent? You can't cook because you wouldn't be able to smell what you're cooking.
yeah,
And what happens if something is happening? Like, we put scent in gas so that if you have a gas leak in your home, gas doesn't smell, natural gas doesn't smell. So they put that rotten egg smell in it so that if you have a leak, you can actually smell it. But if
yeah,
you're in a house that all suddenly has a leak and you have 85 plug-in things going all the time, are you going to smell the gas leak? There's
yeah.
you're covering up your natural senses. And
Totally,
and
totally.
then you go, what we called in the perfumery, we called it nose blind because you start to smell the same thing over and over and over again, and your nose quits smelling it. So they call it nose blind because your senses go blind to that scent.
Yeah,
And like, for instance, there was, at the time when I was working there, there was popular scents in trendy things, and it got to the point where those of us who worked there, we couldn't smell the popular scents because we were working with them all the time. So they were under our noses all the time,
mm,
and we couldn't even smell them. We kept bowls of coffee, just the beans,
yeah, yeah,
and if somebody was scenting products to figure out what they wanted, we would crush coffee beans in our hands and hold it under their nose so they could clear their
yeah,
palate
yeah,
because they would go nose blind that quick. Your senses get confused. So it's amazing to me how much scent the world is inundated with. And it's
mm,
like, for me, going to like Target or even Costco, where they have big aisles of laundry
oh,
detergent and cleaning supplies, whew, I actually was grateful for the masks sometimes because I could actually have something over
yeah.
my face and get past all of it.
No, it's
It was,
very hard, and
yeah.
it's very disturbing. So, and people don't realize that this interfere with their right functionment, the functionment of their body.
Well, you're interfering with your brain cells
Yeah,
because your five senses. have an immense amount to do with your survival mechanisms and how you respond to the world around you. And so when you block one of the senses with synthetic interference,
Mm,
you're shutting yourself off
yeah,
from your own internal, what's the word, spirit, intuition, that
yeah,
intuition that
totally,
comes.
totally.
Yeah.
It's really it's evident, logical. There is no, you don't have to do long study to understand that process. And like, for example, when we go in some cab, and they have this little pine tree in Vandalia,
Yeah.
I open the window, even if it's in winter, I'm like, I
And
can't.
what is it covering up? What was in here before you put that in there?
Oh
That's what
my
I
God.
always wonder is what are you trying to cover up? Like this house that we were in with all of the, I was like, does somebody in here smell really bad? That you have to have this much scent to cover everything up. But anyway, I think it's fascinating where we've come, with scent, especially in the United States. So I'm very intrigued to smell something made without all of that synthetic
Yeah.
influence from France. Or Italy. I'm sorry, she's from Italy, right?
And Italy, and with
Italy, yeah.
yes, because, but if you read philosophy on her website, you can see that it's really resonating with mine. And
Hmm.
that is, I told her, I didn't know she was doing that. I told her, what was important for me when I was little girl, and it was the salt on the rocks. And I would love to have some salt in my perfume. And also because, as you know, I changed my name in 2014 after that trip, after I met Emerson at Sky City. I met Emerson, who was at that time the director of the cultural center there. And when I changed my name, I had the idea to ask him about my name, if he knew in his native language, because he's native, if this was meaning something. And he told me, yes, it means, without changing one letter, it means bowl of salt.
Bowl of
Mina,
salt.
the salt. So I said, to Maria, we call it Yazemeenah. This makes totally sense because it's connected to what the meaning of the word, the proper word, and also of what was important for me when I was a little girl, the salt. For me, it was diamonds. I was like, these are diamonds. And
Sparkling.
and she told me that in all her perfume, she worked with salt. Because salt is a crystal, and
Right.
salt can infuse an information, like we
Hmm.
said, on intention. And
It's
salt
it's
is about that
it
as well.
holds an
Yeah,
energetic
yeah,
because it's of the organic material and the crystallization. Yeah.
yeah. Like when I was in Mexico before the confinement, just I arrived when the confinement started on the 13th of March 2020. I was in Mexico 5 days and working on a workshop with a chef there, Paola. And she is also doing the same thing. She's organic chef, really aware what she's doing. And every time she puts the salt, she has an intention from her heart. So she knows also what she's doing. So there are people who knows what they do, and this, you found it in the product. There is a little girl of a granddaughter of one of my followers, customer. She bought Lankaran Forest on one of the last promotion we did with Maria, and she makes smell that to her granddaughter, 4 years old, and the granddaughter say, "I want my magic spray or something like that." And she said, "Why?" She said, "Because I feel protected when I am at school."
Oh wow.
Can you imagine? Without knowing that this Lanka
Without knowing, well,
forest,
I mean, she's a child though. They know more than we do.
exactly. And
So,
Lankaran forest, Maria did it because she visited that forest. I think it's in Azerbaijan. And it's a forest where the trees are healing themselves among themselves, each of them. And the little girl say, oh, like this, I feel protected when. So the morning she comes to have her spray, before going at school.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So children really are so close, to where we come, where we are part of the invisible
They're,
realm.
the word is they are unadulterated.
Yeah,
They're still children. They are unadulterated.
exactly,
Right? Oh,
exactly. Okay.
well, this was lovely, and I'm sorry it took me 2 years to sit down with you. You have to you have to tie me down, I guess, to get me to stay
No,
still long enough to.
you do something great. I thought it's a pity you don't have some, exposure about what you do, and so people you can go on Joli page and check it out and use and try and test and do your own thing, because from what you give, what you sell, the product you sell, after people can evolve and do things at their own way as well. You can
I
put
think
more or less or that, and regarding your hair, regarding how you feel with that.
one of the things I love about my products is I tried to not be too complex. I
Yeah.
wanted them to be simple so that if you felt like you wanted to add a dash of this or a dash of that, you were going to be safe to do that.
Mm.
Um, some people like to put a little bit of vinegar, some people like to put a
Yeah.
little baking soda, and it's, moderation, of course, is key. You don't want to just dump it all in there, but it makes it, I think there's a wave of that going on in the cosmetic industry because there's now new companies that you can buy single ingredients, throughout their line. There's several, especially for
Yeah.
skincare, that like sell just hyaluronic acid, and some of them, sell DHA, and all of these things that you can use um, by themselves, so you can experience what it does by itself. Back to that, we overdo it. We have these complicated formulas, and I think that's one of the things I love about my own products is I can trust it because I know that it's not a ton of things. It's just a few things. And that's one thing as I work on something that's ready made that we've been discussing in working on it is making sure that it's not too complicated,
Yes,
that it's
that
not,
it's
yeah.
the same for everything. It's also valid for cooking.
Yeah.
uh, don't mix too much things. The body, it's difficult to process. You don't know the
Yeah.
combination that one thing gonna do with another one, and you don't know how it will be easy or not for the body to digest that alchemy.
And
So
that's something we share is we both cook all of our own meals.
yeah,
And I'm a very simple cook. My
me
poor
too.
husband probably gets bored with my cooking because I stick to the same things. But I have food allergies, so I have to keep it simple so that I can know that what goes in it is safe and okay for me.
Yeah,
And it means that the best thing is that you taste each ingredient. When you pile it on and pile it on and pile it on, you don't taste anything,
yeah.
you
It's
know.
me. I love, for example, to have just green beans with olive
Yeah,
oil. That's
just
it.
just
You know.
green beans with oil and salt,
Yeah.
a
and,
little bit
uh,
of
and
salt.
salt and pepper. That's it. Not even balsamic, not even lemon, just like that. Yesterday I had one of these amazing heirloom tomato with just olive oil, salt and pepper. Nothing, no onion, nothing. I wanted to have it like that, and
Just like that.
it was so good. And it's that I see in some product. I don't know why they put so many different ingredients. Maybe to look richer, maybe to look like it's something great. It's too
Well,
much.
when it comes to synthetic chemistry, you have to balance everything out. So you have this uh, you put this in and it does this job, but it makes the formula fall apart. So you have to put this thing in over here to keep the formula from falling apart. And then you have to put this in to emulsify it so it all stays blended together. And then you have to, so it's like this, it's this dance with synthetic chemistry
Yeah,
where the things they don't want to go together. where things in nature tend to want to find each other and stay together.
So
And
exactly.
even then you can tell when nature propels itself from something, you know, you can tell what doesn't go together, you
Hmm.
know. And I think that's a real fascinating side of chemistry is what is attracted to each other and what is not, and how that translates to what we do for our skin and our hair and our bodies and so forth. So,
Yeah, and I see with the perfume the three different layers. Maria Candida explained to us that it's because some molecules are heavier than others.
mhm.
So maybe we will not send them immediately because they are like at the bottom, if we can say. And we smell first the lightest one.
The top notes, yeah.
It depends also how we are sensitive to this or this or this. And after, when you have for a while, maybe you can finally smell the heavier particles that you were not smelling at the beginning when you sprayed. And also she told me it is very important, and sure, it makes a big difference. When you try a perfume, it's not to put on you, but just around, but outside. To do it
It's,
outside.
you know, it's funny when I did wear perfume, I sprayed it in front of me and I
And
let
you walk.
it, and then I walked through it.
Yeah.
I never like sprayed it right on me.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I did that. I don't know where that came from, but it did feel very French to.
Because you do it instinctively, because it makes sense, because the air we breathe around, it's all there, but it's diffusing. It's like it's we have the feeling when we do that to walk through a cloud of perfume, and all these little particles are like, around.
Dancing
It's
around.
Yeah, it's like a scent shower. It's like it's fascinating, really, really fascinating.
It is.
So
You
here
know
we
what?
are.
I wanted to tell you something. I just
Yeah.
now thought of this. I was thinking of it while you were talking about that your name when you had the shaman here tell you it was a bowl of salt. So you know what my name means in French, but in Chinese, the two syllables in Chinese mean beautiful pearl. So we're both little white
Yeah.
molecules floating through the world. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, that I'm the pearl and you're the salt.
Yeah, it's
and
it's
and
really.
to make a pearl, it's a grain of sand stuck in the oyster, right? To
Yeah.
that it's a grain
Yeah.
of sand that. So anyway.
But I was thinking it's amazing where we are today in 2022 after all these years, and we developed each of us something. Me with a collaboration with the
I was
help.
thinking about that earlier today
Yeah.
too. That
Yeah.
yeah,
And I also developed my business with your collaboration, with your help, working on my website. But it's not my field at all. Me, I can do pictures, video, but the rest, all this
yeah.
technical website thing, it's not my thing at all. So it's nice is that we realize that we are really more powerful when we are together, when everybody brings the best what is knows to do, for the collective. And it's the meaning why we are all different, why we are all with our specificities. It's because like that we can create something all together, and bring goodness, because we can, something, how to do something, I know how to do something, Maria knows to do something, and we bring all this together.
Yep.
So
And then we each have our own collection of things that we've learned that create this moment right here and
yeah.
how we are contributing. Um, at the end of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Awakening, he talks about that even if you are an at-home wife, so to speak, if you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a housewife, you still even have something that you're contributing to the
Oh, sure.
world from a massive energetic level. So
Sure.
I loved that he talked about that, because there's so many people that this story out there that you have to be following some crazy passionate life to be
Yeah.
important. And that's it's a falsity. It's something that people go striving after to try to find their passion, and they might just be a really great mom, or they
Yeah.
might be a really great
Yeah.
cook, or they might be a
Exactly.
really great gardener. It's not something that just going to take them flying around the world, with this
Mhm.
crazy passionate life, but
Yeah.
it's still a contribution to, I mean, imagine if all the gardeners in the world disappeared.
I know
We wouldn't.
one. My friend here is my age, more or less. He lived all his life outside with the plants
With the
and
plants.
surfing. And he's still
And
surfing. And he say, I have the most beautiful life,
yeah,
you
and
know?
you can find beauty anywhere in the world. You just have to
Yeah.
open yourself to it. And even if your world is tiny and small, there's something there that is worth paying attention to and being beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that you're a part of my beautiful little world.
And me
And
too. I don't know
and
how I would do it without you. I would be like, oh my goodness, I will be lost.
we just have to keep you we
Fantastic.
just have to keep you safe on Instagram.
Oh,
Don't
my.
click that, Yasmina.
Yeah, don't. Oh my. I have
Uh,
angels. You are one of my angels around me to help me, to protect me.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah.
You
Okay.
you were an inspiration to me in such a way that, like I said, when you send me the photos and everything for the website, I get this time with you through that medium, and I can just feel your energy and your love and what you give to the world, and it's a true blessing. So,
It's great. I plan for fall to go in New Mexico. I want to go on white sand. I never been.
yeah,
So,
and you want to go to White Sands in the late fall.
yeah,
So, because it's so hot. That sand is unbelievably hot because it's gypsum, so it just sits there and it's like a mirror.
yeah.
You're like standing on a mirror.
I would love
Um,
to go in end of October, November, something like that. I would love
yeah.
to come. Yeah, it's a long
So
time.
I'm originally from about 45 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So in White Sands, when you turn and look east from White Sands, you can see the mountain that I grew up in.
Okay.
Which now, if there's people watching the news right now, there's a big fire down there, and
Oh,
yeah, we've actually been on the headline news lately because a fire broke out a few days ago, and um, I've been, in touch with family and friends to make sure everybody's okay, and of course everybody's safe and everything. But we lost, I think the last count was somewhere around 200 houses have burned.
wow.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of a small fire as far as how many acres it is, but there was a lot of houses in that because it broke out in town.
Oh,
So,
I
and the
didn't know.
wind,
I follow the news, so I didn't know about that.
it was from the wind that came a few days ago. The
Yeah.
winds down there were up to 80 miles an hour, and the tall ponderosa pines were snapping in half and breaking. And so not only did they have the fire going on, but the trees breaking and crushing into houses and crushing cars. And it's just
Wow.
been, yeah, it's really, it's a devastating time right now for
Mm, mm.
my friends and family back home. But we put the prayer up there. They get that fire out
Yeah.
here pretty soon because
Yeah.
it's bad timing this time of year to have fires because it gets so windy and so dry. And now the temperature's rising. We're getting warmer. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So White Sands is only 45 minutes from where I grew up. And then north of where I grew up is the lava beds.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I was telling you that you could go to the White Sands and then we could take you to the black lava beds so you could see the Valley of Fire.
It's the same.
Uh,
It's better to don't go in summer in the lava beds because of the
whew,
snow.
you can't even get out of the car. You just can't. It's so hot. Um, the lava beds aren't as hot in comparison to white sands because white sands is literally like a mirror because
Yeah,
it's this solid white gypsum, which is clear. It's the gypsum is actually,
yeah.
you know, it's it gets hot. So anyway, I can't wait for you to come back because I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, so this is in my plan. So it's a long time I've not did a road trip. I've not traveled a little. So this is what I'm gonna do in my little car coming down there, and just enjoy the ride. And I love to do this. I really love it. So this is,
I have a friend up here on Facebook that is a photographer,
yeah,
and yeah, and I bet I could twist his arm and we could all meet in White Sands if
yeah.
it
Let's
is the right time of year.
send me the link. I'm curious to see and maybe be in touch. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Oh, he's a lovely man. Actually, my other design client, he was a client of hers, and we all kind of connected via Facebook that way. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll have to do it on Facebook. I don't think he's on Instagram, but
Okay.
I'll see if I can point him out to you. But anyway, all right, so we should go before we talk all night long, which we can do.
Yes, we can.
Go for hours and hours, right? Anyway, well, it was a pleasure, and I'm so glad I could finally make it, and I appreciate you having me.
Oh, you're welcome, Joli. Really welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see you. It's really because it's difficult to quit.
I
Okay.
know, but I'm still here. And as my mom had this little client that would come and the dog would just love all over him and he would say, "I know, I get it, you love me." So, with that, I love you and I'll see you soon.
Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
Bye. So, voila. So this was a little chat with Jolie. I don't know if there is maybe. Now I'm alone. So if you want to visit our website and our page and Quicksilver, and you will see the product she created for white hair that are really nice. And check it out. Voila. And again, I tell you for the perfume, it's on Maria Candida Gentile. There are some ads on my page, and it is with a deduction discount until end of the month with my code Yazemeenah. Et voilà. So if you are curious, you can still go and check it out and order and maybe enjoy it and let me know if you enjoy it. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.